He's one of the world's greatest novelists. For the first time in 7 years, he's back with a new book, and it is cause for celebration. My official title is President and Chief Executive Officer of Simon & Schuster. But if I had to describe my work in the most essential and meaningful way, I would only need 3 words: John Irving's editor. For my entire life, no writer has captivated me, entertained me, moved me, and sustained me as deeply as John Irving has done, from his earliest works through his latest novel, The Last Chairlift. I first read him when I was a student in high school, and The World According to Garp was on the bestseller list. As you can see from the name of this video series, the book made quite an impression on me. As a 25-year-old, one of the reasons I applied for a job as an editorial assistant at Random House is because that was the company that published John Irving. I have read all 15 of his novels. At the risk of hurting the feelings of the thousands of authors we publish, I will freely admit that John Irving is my favorite writer. He always has been, he always will be. What begins in his imagination becomes real through his research, his persistence, and the careful way he builds his stories. First as an architect, envisioning the structure and the people who will live within it, and then as a laborer, laying down the materials and fitting them all together. I am not alone in marveling at his diligence and his skill. In her study of grit, professor and author Angela Duckworth cited John as the personification of effort. He overcame dyslexia as a kid and became a writer through a relentless work ethic of writing and rewriting, draft after draft, first in longhand through numerous incarnations, and now with the help of an assistant who transcribes his handwriting to type. Critics have noted that John likes to repeat some of his favorite themes and tropes. In the universe of his fiction, you will often find unconventional families, New England boarding schools, profane, tough women, and small, beautiful men, wrestlers, absent fathers and strong mothers, and all kinds of sex, some of it thrilling and some of it embarrassing for the characters having it or trying to have it. Within this familiar Irving-esque world, there is always something new and daring going on, and that's certainly true of The Last Chairlift. In describing his novels, John prefers to give away as little as possible. All you really need to know about this book is that it's a ghost story and a love story. The less you know, the more you'll appreciate the turns of the tale. But I will offer this clue. John envisioned and proposed the image on the book cover for a good reason, and his conception of this cover offers some insight into just how meticulous his process is. He asked one of his friends, a ski patroller at Bromley Mountain in Vermont, to take some photos of the blue ribbon chairlift at pre-dawn in sub-zero temperature, and he sent us 3 images to inform the painting that appears on the cover. As John described it in an email to our art director, this is the foremost downhill-facing chair at the top of the chairlift. I'm imagining a book cover that incorporates aspects of these 3 shots in one painting. And he added, I think there's a doomed appearance to this frigid chairlift at the downhill edge of the loading platform. It's not where anyone gets on. When John sent us these very specific directions, I hadn't read The Last Chairlift. It wasn't until I got to the scene in the novel, set at this exact location on Bromley Mountain, that I understood why he wanted this image on the cover. Without giving anything away, I can say that his reasoning speaks to the depth and power of his artistry. John Irving turned 80 this year. He still has several more novels he plans to write, but they will be shorter ones. He's told me this is his last long novel. In fact, at 900 pages, it's the longest novel of John Irving's career. But all of us who've read it think it deserves to be this length. As John's longtime copy editor, Amy Edelman, put it, he had a lot he wanted to say. And let me note that it's still shorter than classic works by 2 of the novelists who have inspired John through the years, Dickens and Dostoevsky. Instead of rereading the brothers Karamazov or David Copperfield, spend your weekend with The Last Chairlift. Behold this magnum opus and appreciate this great writer now for his politically subversive stories, his moral vision, and his extraordinarily entertaining imagination. And that is the word and the world according to Karp.